everybody. This is the next detailed analysis of previous year NET questions. This time we are going to talk about English in India and Indian literature. In NET 2021 morning shift paper, look at this question. What function of English is exemplified by the use of English in India as a link language along with a first language? So we have in India first languages. Along with that, English is also used as a link language. And we are all stable bilinguals in well-defined context. That means it is a confusing sentence, but question is easy. English is used by native speakers of India. Vernacular language we speak, mother tongue we speak, but English is also used. Is it complementary, supplementary, auxiliary, equative? Actually, if you even know the meaning of these words, you will be able to answer. Complementary, one and two things are used together. That is complementary. It is actually an English language question. It is, if you know English language, you can answer it. Complementary, okay? Which of these did the Wood's Dispatch seek to propagate? This is actually a silly question because the two wrong options are completely nonsense. Wood's Dispatch introduced English education, everybody knows, isn't it? Magna Carta, isn't it, of English education. So option A, impart Western knowledge to Indians. Ho sakta hai, maybe yes. Restrict access to English learning in India. No. To restrict access to English learning in India will not be, because that is not what Wood's Dispatch did. Then, educate British officers in Sanskrit and Persian. Not at all. Wood's Dispatch is not about Sanskrit and Persian. It is about English. So B and C must be wrong. 4, create a class of public servants. Well, that could be right. So it is A and D. It is actually common sense question. Dekho, which of the following statements is true of the working group set up by the University Grants Commission in 1978 to study the medium of instruction in higher education? Listen guys, when University Grants Commission studies the medium of instruction, if it is at the time of independence, then they will probably say Indian languages are important. In 1978, they will only say English is important. Did you understand? That is again common sense. It is, let us take a look at the options. It recommended a quicker switch over of the medium of instruction from English to Indian languages. No. From English to Indian languages in 1978, they will not say. One is wrong. It observed that English need not be displaced as the medium of instruction, although regional languages were quite ready to take over their functions. C, let us take a look. Keep it aside. Let us see. It argued that English as a highly developed language was best suited for India's industrial and scientific progress. Array, C seems very much right, isn't it? English is suited for India's scientific and industrial progress seems right. It is, anybody with a clear head will say this is right. Because this is a little too much. Regional languages are ready to take over, but English should not be displaced. I would say C is the correct answer. And that is the answer. It asserted that English had the potential to further polarize an already divided. Nay. That is a wrong option. D is absolutely wrong. So you will be a little confused between 2 and 3, but the answer is 3. Now, this is easy. They go, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Everybody knows he wrote Rajmohan's wife, isn't it? A2. Only one option is there like that. Only this one option is there like that. Mulk Raj Anand. What did he write? Untouchable. Who doesn't know? Panchkori Khan. Okay, if you don't know that, it doesn't matter because anyway, you know the answer. Panchkori Khan wrote The Revelations of an Orderly. Kamala Satyanathan wrote Stories from Indian Christian Life. That is actually wrong. It is Saguna, Stories of Native Christian Life. That is the subtitle. Anyway, that is the answer. Option A. Which of these does Meenakshi Mukherjee propose as the possible target readership of an early Indian novel? Early Indian novels were written for whom? Dekho, a pan-Indian readership. Absolutely not. Early Indian novels will not be for every Indian. That is wrong. A localized Indian readership. That means novels will be written by some Indians in some parts. Is it correct? A British readership. Definitely yes. The early Indian novels aimed to address British readers. That is right. C is the answer. The colonial administrator in India. Of course, they will also read. It is C and D. I don't think that is a difficult question. Which of these constitute the preoccupations of the protagonist in Upamanyu Chatterjee's English August? English August is about the protagonist undergoing a lot of personal transformations. Marijuana is there. Marijuana is there. A is there. A and D, A and B. Which one is it? Marijuana and magic is absolutely wrong. He is an IAS officer. It must be Marcus Aurelius. Marijuana and Marcus Aurelius. Magic and monotheism, I would say, are outright wrong. Who among the following is known to have used elements from the Yakshagana tradition? Everybody knows Girish Karnad. It's famous. Which of these plays by Girish Karnad shared its theme with Thomas Mann's Transposed Death? That's also very easy. Hayavadana. Identify the correct ones among the following. Arun Kolatkar used colloquial speech in his poems. Arun Kolatkar envisions abstract qualities to paint a picture of life of his own kind. Imagine a student who knows nothing about Arun Kolatkar, except that Arun Kolatkar is from Maharashtra, okay? Now, Kolatkar envisions abstract qualities to paint a picture of life of his own kind. The poem Boat Ride by Arun Kolatkar talks about a ride in the Ganges. In Boat Ride by Arun Kolatkar, actually he is talking about the gateway of India. Private Poems in Public Garden is composed by Dilip Chitre. In Ethiopia is a poem on Africa by Arun Kolatkar. Listen to me guys, you should know the titles of these poems. The answer is A, B, D. A is correct, uses colloquial speech. That if you take a look at poetry of Arun Kolatkar, you will know. I am telling you, reminding you, read every day. Kolatkar envisions abstract qualities to paint a picture of life of his own kind. Looks like correct, na? Nobody will make up such a wrong answer. Then D, Private Poems in Public Garden by Dilip Chitre. So, it is not an easy question, but you can guess one or two of the sentences if you read Arun Kolatkar. Which of the collections of poems is or are not written by Meena Alexander? River and Bride, Articulate Silence, Raw Silk, Stone Roots, A Time to Change. Arey, you should know some of these are by Nissim Ezekiel. B and D are not by Meena Alexander. This is not actually a question about Meena Alexander. You should know about Nissim Ezekiel. That is the main thing here. Okay? Right. Now, afternoon shift in 2021. Arrange the following characters in chronological order. Of course, Mahabharata must be first. Shakuni Mahabharata. What an answer. B, Mahabharata. Then Godan by Premchand is very early. Early 20th century. Then after that, Rusty, A Room on the Roof. It is by Ruskin Bond. And also Praneshacharya by Samskara. Very second half of 20th century. Isn't it? So BDCA. It is not that difficult because of Mahabharata. And even Premchand. Which of the following are true about the dramatic legacy of Ben Jonson? Johnson's physiological interpretation of character and personality did not have any precedent is wrong. Johnson's physiological interpretation of character was based on morality plays. It was the more common convention in medieval literature. After the practice of moralities and interludes, Johnson named his dramatis personae aptronymically. Aptronymically means morose is actually a morose character. Did you understand like that? Cut beard is barber. So the names suit the character. That is correct. B is correct. Chapman's All Fools and Middleton's A Trick to Catch the Old One belong to the genre of comedy of manners. Chapman and Middleton did write comedy of manners. John Marston and Thomas Dekker collaborated with Johnson in writing for a children's company of players. No. B and C only is the answer. Okay? Some of these are difficult options, I know. There will be some difficult questions in the exam. Everyone cannot be easy. Which of the following does Urvashi Bhutalia? Remember to look up Indian feminisms and Urvashi Bhutalia. I had made a video on Indian feminisms. Please Google search and watch it. I've talked about it there. The other side of silence. It is about partition. Yes, to understand partition as something more than a political divide is correct. To understand partition as something more than politics. To foreground a personal history of the partition, correct. To foreground the partition as an even more tragic than Holocaust. Array, C is obviously wrong. She did not write to show that partition is more tragic than Holocaust. To find and unite families separated at the partition. That is also absolutely wrong. This is general knowledge, common sense question. Common sense question. Which of the following statements are true of English as used in India? India is counted among the largest English-speaking communities in the world. Correct. India is one of the largest English-speaking communities. No group, community or population of Indians claims English as their mother tongue. Wrong. Nagaland is mother tongue, English. More than 50% of Indians speak English fluently. Nahi. Only very few people speak English fluently. English is the country's principal language of commerce. Yes, because English is a link language between states. Yes, with the growing stature of Hindi as lingua franca, it has supplanted English as the link language. No. Hindi has not supplanted English. That is wrong. So A and D. If you are a discerning reader, you can answer this. So please pay attention to all this. Read carefully like I am doing. You will be able to answer. Arrange the following in chronological order. Okay. English replaces Persian as official language of the company. Arrival of Charles Grant in India. That is definitely before English replaces Persian. Because Charles Grant initiated all this. Universities established in Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. No, Charles Grant is very early. After that only, universities are established after Hunter Commission. And construction of Fort William in Calcutta. That is a fort. So it is early Fort William in Calcutta. You should know the years. Then arrival of Charles Grant in India. All these are very basic things in English in India, isn't it? What you should do is, you should follow the English in India videos that I have made. And there is a huge list of all these things that I have given there. Fort William was constructed in the 18th century. Arrival of Charles Grant is end of 18th century and beginning. That is when Charles Grant arrived and started initiating English education. Then English replaces Persian only came after that. Universities established is towards the end of 19th century. Like that you should remember. Okay? Who is the author of The Otherness of English? India's Anti-Tongue Syndrome. That is a famous book by Prabal Das Gupta. Who among these are songwriters who have been awarded Nobel Prize for Literature? Of course, Rabindranath Tagore and Bob Dylan. These two are very famous. General knowledge questions. Which of these themes best sums up the preoccupation of most of Vijay Tendulkar's plays? Dynamics of media. No. Motivations of crime. No. Workings of love triangles. No. Workings of power is correct. And if you know our Vijay Tendulkar, this is easy. Sakharam Binder, Shantada Kot Chalu Aahe. All these famous plays are about workings of power. Who is the author of The Truth About Me, a Hijra life story? Very famously, A. Revati. Minority autobiographies, okay? Remember, minority autobiographies of Dalits, trans women, etc. Which two of the following are the earliest colonial publishing initiatives that apply to India? Andrew Lang, this is a difficult question. The answer is Murray Colonial and Home Library Series and Colonial Library Series by Macmillan. Okay, please do some Google search on earliest colonial publishing initiatives. Which of these departments did the Woods Dispatch of 1854 recommend? A, B and D. Arabic, English and law, it seems. Woods Dispatch of 1854. Now, choose the right chronological sequence of the following books. Arundhati Roy, Kiran Desai, Shashi Deshpande, Jhumpa Lahiri. Shashi Deshpande is the oldest. Shashi Deshpande must come first, C. Then Arundhati Roy, after that Kiran Desai and Jhumpa Lahiri came, na? Arundhati Roy, then Jhumpa Lahiri and then Kiran Desai. Kiran Desai is the smallest. Okay, Subramani is the fantasy eaters. That is a difficult question, isn't it? But please understand that some of these questions will be difficult. You don't have to answer them if you know the others. It's a collection of short stories. Now, there are a number of books here that you don't know very well. Identify the correct pairs. The Boyfriend by Juliet Banerjee. Nude Therapy by Margaret Chatterjee. So what are you going to do? You are going to look up all these writers. Deena Mehta is a very famous Parsi writer. She did write The Other Women and Other Stories. Okay, C is correct, but your problem is C is there in all these. That is very famous. The Yankee and the Yogi is by B.G. Siddharth is correct. Will you today itself read about all these Indian writers? Very good. Gavitra Bahadur wrote famously The Coolie Woman. C-O-O-L-I. The Coolie Woman is by Gavitra Bahadur. Now, look at this. Salim Ali. Famous Salim Ali's Fall of a Sparrow. You should know that. Jim Corbett wrote My India. These two you may not know. Kailash Sanghala is Wild Beauty and M. Krishnan is Night and Days, My Book of Wildlife. These are all non-fiction about environmental writing. Which of the following articles of the Indian Constitution made for the provision of use of English along Hindi? So in paper 1 and 2 both, you will get these questions. Remember, it is article 343. Now match the following. This is little more easier. Many of these are very famous. Perumal Murugan, Hansa Sovendra Shekhar, Baby Kamble and Urmila Pawar. Baby Kamble and Urmila Pawar I always teach. Perumal Murugan wrote One Part Woman, very famous writer. Baby Kamble wrote The Prisons We Broke. Urmila Pawar wrote Aidan, The Weave of My Life. And Hansa Sovendra Shekhar wrote Adivasi Will Not Dance. Now you should remember at least. Now, Women of Palestine and Indian Women in Struggle. Women of Palestine. These are also difficult questions, but let us hope in 2023, so many difficult questions from Indian literature may not be there. Women of Palestine is about female militancy. It is actually, you can guess it. Women in Palestine, religious issues, struggle, reproductive rights cannot be. It is actually common sense question, female militancy and political involvement. I don't think that's a difficult question. The following statement is written by which of the authors given below? Could fulfillment ever be felt as deeply as loss? Inheritance of loss. You should remember Kiran Desai. Inheritance of loss. That loss is the clue here. You should understand they always give such clues also. They're not so cruel. Okay. Now, statement. Did you know, guys, from Bodhi Tree, there is a true or false book which will really immensely help you with statement type questions. True or false book is there we have, which is very, very useful. Now, look at the statements. The Indian English novelists witnessed a warm reception of their writings in Europe, and they proliferated well in India during 1930s and 40s. Yes, look at how R.K. Narayan was, supported by Graham Greene and Mulk Raj Anand by E.M. Foster. It was a warm reception, it's correct. The two world wars added an overall sense of gloom and civilizational crisis across the globe, especially in Europe. That is also easy. Common sense. Yes, both are correct. Easy. Now, Kalidasa, Bhavabhudi, Bhasa, Rajashekhara, Somadeva. At least some of these you should know. Identify the correct pairs. Kalidasa, Amogha Varsha is obviously wrong. At least Kalidasa we know. Bhavabhudi wrote Uttara Ramacharita. It is correct. Bhasa, Urubhanga. Rajashekhara, who wrote Rajatarangini. Actually, we are studying all this in our college days also. You should definitely Google search and find out the very famous Indian classics in Sanskrit, okay? Rajatarangini is by Kalhana. And Somadeva, Katha Sarit Sagara is famous. That is easy. This is also easy, I think. Who first translated Bhagavad Gita into English? It is Charles Wilkins. Who coined the slogan Vande Mataram? It is Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, but they're asking which text. It is Anandamad by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Which of the following is not by Rabindranath Tagore? Visarjan, Chandalika, Muktadhara, Parinita and Punamava. Parinita is a little famous, the other one is not famous. The first, Visarjan, Chandalika, Muktadhara, especially B and C are very famous. Parinita is by Sharat Chandra Chatterjee. Okay, so look up works by Rabindranath Tagore. It's part of general knowledge because of our web series, etc. When did Thomas Babington Macaulay present Array? The date you should know. It is 2nd February 1835. Minutes on Education. 2nd February 1835. Which of these books are written by Chaman Nahal? Definitely Neeraj C. Chaudhary. What am I saying? Not Chaman Nahal. Which of these books are written by Neeraj C. Chaudhary? Neeraj C. Chaudhary definitely wrote Continent of Sirsi. That is famous. Principal Upanishads, maybe not. Passage to England, very famous. Autobiography of an Unknown Indian, very famous. This is actually easy. A, C and E. Okay. Yasmin Gunaratne, that is Sri Lankan writer. Imtiaz Dharkar is famous. Agha Shahid Ali is famous. Eunice D'Souza. Agha Shahid Ali wrote Postcard from Kashmir. You should know because he is the Kashmiri here. Okay, C1, what are the options? Only one C1 is there. So this is the answer. If you know one of these, you will know. Very good. So the answer is A4, B3, C1, D2. A4, Yasmin Gunaratne, this language, this woman. B3, Imtiaz Dharkar wrote Postcards from God. Agha Shahid Ali wrote Postcard from Kashmir. Eunice D'Souza wrote Advice to Women. Now, In My Remembered Village by M.N. Srinivas highlights the ethnographical details of a village, Rampura, near Mysore. I think that's right. It also emphasizes the importance of economic freedom of the masses required for their overall upliftment. It seems statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Remember to look up M.N. Srinivas. Which among the following is a short story by Geetanjali Shri? Bel Patra is the answer. Geetanjali Shri you should read about because of the Booker International. Now, Cornelia Sorabji, Krupabai Satyanathan. Krupabai Satyanathan wrote Saguna, a story of native Christian life that we know from earlier. है ना? Rajalakshmi Devi and Kamala Markandeya. This is easy. Because Kamala Markandeya wrote Nectar in a Sieve. Rajalakshmi Devi wrote Hindu, nahi. Rajalakshmi Devi wrote, yes, Hindu wife. So, if you know one or two, it is easy. Then, Siddhant Dhanvan Sanghvi, Advaita Kala. These are little difficult if you are not a very good reader. Isn't it? Today itself, you should read about these writers. But Zoya Factor is famous, isn't it? Zoya Factor is a famous movie, isn't it? So that we should know, it seems. These are all movies. So, Zoya Factor is C. Amrit Shetty. In Kannada literature, Vachana movement addresses, that is easy, that is a famous movement. Progressive values. It brought in modernism. Uttara Ramacharita Bhavabhudi, we know that. Bharati Mukherjee's novels display split in the diasporic subjects. Rohinton Mystery belongs to community of Parsis. Both are correct. Then Sujata Bhatt recalls home as a nostalgic memory and longs intensely for it. Farooq Dondi connects Delhi and New York to discuss diasporic experiences. That is wrong. Farooq Dondi is a Parsi writer. Sharat Chandra in his poem In the Third Country wishes to die in India. That is difficult, isn't it? This question is also difficult. But this time in 2023, they will not ask about so many Indians, let us hope. So that is the end of this discussion on Indian literature. There are so many questions that are difficult, I know, but it is good because then we can read up on that. Isn't it? Please do that. All the best. I will bring you the questions from other areas also soon.